Hi, my name is Claire and this is my story. We were living in Switzerland, Robbie and myself, and we have, at that time we had Yasmin, our daughter, who was just under 3. I was pregnant with Ethan and I felt that something wasn't right. It was more of a physical feeling with my right breast. It started to feel, and the best way that I can describe it is it felt like it does when you're breastfeeding, kind of heavy. No one particular lump, which I think is a bit of a misconception of people who think, that that's what they're looking for when it comes to breast cancer, because it didn't even enter my mind at that time that that's what it could possibly be. I was just like, oh, it just doesn't feel right. It feels heavier than my other breast. It just feels, it just felt like I remember it feeling when I was breastfeeding Yasmin. And so I took myself off I didn't hesitate in going to see my obstetrician and gynecologist, because I didn't think it was anything sinister. I was like, well, it just doesn't feel right. I think I'll go and get it checked. So I went off to see I got an appointment quite quickly and went to see my doctor in the village, and he was like, yep, fine, let's do an ultrasound straight away. He had all the equipment there, so it was great. There was no waiting and he did an ultrasound, but basically didn't find anything that he felt was unusual. He said that there was already some milk in the ducts, that he would suspect that it was hormonal, with all the changes that your body's going through during pregnancy. He didn't think there was no other signs from a physical point of view externally, so nothing else in terms of my breast looked exactly the same with the other one.
So they were the same size?
Yeah,
Physical changes.
At that stage, they were the same size, even though one felt heavier than the other, they looked the same at that time.
And I suppose when you're pregnant as well, you do get lumpy breasts when your milk is coming through and your breasts are getting ready to start producing milk. And so,
I don't think there was really anything. Well, I really didn't think there was anything to worry about at that stage, and for quite a long time, I kept the same view. I think the doctor basically said, we'll monitor it. Let me know if anything changes, if you're feeling any different, symptoms, and so I kept an eye on it. I mean, physically I was fine. Had an easy pregnancy. There was. Sometimes I remember on the odd occasion at the end of the day that I would remove my bra, which is not something that I would have ever done before, having it feeling a little bit tight, uncomfortable. I think this was about the 6-month mark, and so I did start to notice some physical changes. The breast became a little larger, not a lot, there wasn't much in it, but when I would look at myself in the mirror, I could see that the right side was a little bigger. And towards the end of the pregnancy, my nipple became flatter. Not flat, not inverted, flatter is the best way of describing it. And all of that time, I was still talking to the doctor was still examining me, and, we were both of the opinion that it was, hormone related. The changes that you go through during pregnancy. At that, I think as well, misconceptions that people have. People think, oh, you can't have cancer while you're pregnant and things like this. Well, I think, again, that's some kind of myth that's originated from wherever. But it wasn't really something. I really just didn't suspect that was the case. I did fully believe that it was related to the pregnancy, and these things, happen. I think that basically then what happened was I ended up going in for an elective cesarean, and I talked with the doctor and he was like, hopefully things will, once you start, feeding, things will improve. So after Ethan was born, that was the 22nd of April in 2011, we tried with the breastfeeding, and left side was working absolutely fine, right side, nothing at all. I was in hospital for a couple of days and we were pumping on the right hand side, and again, nothing, no colostrum, nothing was coming out. So kind of unbeknownst to me, I have to admit, the doctor ran some blood tests. And he basically said that he'd tested the blood for tumour markers and there was no sign of any cancer. But he said, I think it would be a good idea to do an MRI in a few days. And my doctor called me with the results and said, MRI's not showing up anything. He said, I'm fairly certain it is hormone related. For me, I think it's going to take a long time to right itself, but I think that it will right itself. He said, however, I would like to do a biopsy, just to be sure. And I honestly believe if he hadn't have done that biopsy, I wouldn't be here today. So as much as I'm kind of aggrieved by other things that happened with regards to my treatment, I'm really grateful that he did decide that a biopsy was the right thing to do. And the samples went off, and I think, I'm sure it was 2 days later. My mother-in-law was staying with us, and Robbie had gone to take her to the airport. She was flying back to London. And and then I get a phone call from the doctor. It was difficult for me I was at home, I had Yasmin, I had Ethan, Rob wasn't home, and he's telling me over the phone that, cancer cells have been detected in the biopsy.